let's take this conversation further. We're joined by the founder of March and March, Jacinta Ngobese Zuma, joining us via video link. Jacinta, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I think just bring us up to speed. A busy day for March and March in KZN, but also here in Gauteng, where you've taken this issue up. Talk to us about those activities, what you wanted them to achieve, and if there's a sense that you were able to do that.
Hi, Naledi, and thank you so much for the opportunity, and good evening to the viewers. I think it's been a very busy couple of days and weeks, actually. As you know, March and March started in March, and it's been a couple of months now that we've been making the call to government to attend to the matter of illegal immigrants. And the pace at which it's been happening has not been to the satisfaction of the general public of South Africa. As you know, March and March are ordinary citizens of the country of South Africa who are not in any way politically affiliated to any political party. So it's just us as South Africans saying that we've had enough of the crime, we've had enough of the influx, the damage to infrastructure, the shortage of resources, and the many other problems that have been brought on by illegal immigrants in South Africa. And we've made this call to government, and we have been constantly blue-ticked and not given the attention that we feel that this matter deserves, because it is a crisis. And so therefore we decided that we have been asked and tasked as South Africans to make sure that we protect this country and we protect its resources and its people. So that's what we've been doing lately, and making sure that the future of ourselves and our children is taken back to the hands that it rightfully belongs to, which is South Africans.
But is that to say that March and March in various parts of the country, so in Durban, for instance, as well as in Rosettenville today, and this is with clarity that I'm looking for, that March and March protesters and your own members were outside healthcare facilities trying to stop foreign nationals from accessing healthcare facilities?
I think when using terms like trying to stop illegal immigrants from accessing, we take away from what the real issues are. Nobody's trying to stop illegal immigrants from entering into facilities. Doesn't start there. It starts at the point that we should not even have illegal immigrants in the country to begin with. And if the government is failing to protect South Africans, if the government is failing to protect South African resources, then it's the duty of every South African to step up and play their part to protect what is rightfully ours for ourselves. It's not trying to stop anyone.
So I'm not looking for the reasoning, I'm looking for the facts of the matter. So the action that came with the marching of today, and I think that any South African certainly can understand the reasoning. Illegal immigrants are a really big problem in our country. I think everyone can agree with that. The question is, did March and March members stop foreign nationals from accessing healthcare today in Durban and in Rosettenville?
That's why I'm correcting you, Naledi, because you're not using the correct terminology. And if you're doing that, you're going to change the situation into what it's not, because I have said this before. It's like saying that South Africans are xenophobic for trying to enforce the law. It can't be xenophobic if we're enforcing the law. Today, we were enforcing the laws of this country by preventing people who are in the country illegally from accessing resources that they are not supposed to be accessing, because by right, those people should be getting deported and taken back to their countries. That is what we were doing, protecting South Africa. Because as a forum, because let's call it a forum, forums are all over the country. They are there to help the police to fight crime. We're doing the same thing as South African citizens. The only difference here is that in South Africa, with illegal immigrants, they always get treated with child gloves, as if they're not the same people who have broken the laws of this country and come to the country illegally. How different is March and March to a normal forum that goes to the community to fight crime? I don't see the difference with what we're doing to everything that every other forum does. Okay. We're enforcing the laws of South Africa.
You know, you talk about the laws, and the channel earlier spoke to the South African Human Rights Commission that wanted to remind the public and stakeholders, and I'm going to read from the statement that we received from the Human Rights Commission, because this is what it does. You talk about laws. The Human Rights Commission says Section 27.1 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa clearly states that everyone has the right to have access to healthcare services, including reproductive health care. Then it says, this constitutional provision means that all people in South Africa, regardless of nationality, should have access to basic healthcare services. Stay with me for a little bit, because then it goes on to say, this includes South African citizens, refugees and asylum seekers, and then listen to this, documented and undocumented migrants, as well as stateless persons. So you talk about the law, but this is what our Constitution says, Jacinta.
Okay, so Naledi, there is no part in the Constitution that says undocumented, documented people have a right to access to healthcare. The word that is used is everyone, and everyone is subject to whatever you interpret everyone to be. And also, to add to that, there is no constitution in the world, firstly, that is designed for people from outside. Every single constitution in every single country is designed for people who are citizens of that country. Second to that, there's not a single constitution in the country that contradicts itself. So how can the Constitution of South Africa say that illegal immigrants are in the country illegally and therefore need to be deported, but then that same constitution says those people must have a right to everything that South Africans have? It's not fair. You're interpreting the constitution in a way that is not supposed to be interpreted. Also, the Constitution of South Africa, Section 21 of 1F, says that every single person who is in the country needs to come here legally, and also while they're here, they need to have medical insurance that makes sure that they are able to access medical care in the country because they're from outside. Why would the Constitution say bring medical insurance and then the same Constitution says come and have something for free? The word that is being misinterpreted here is everyone. And that everyone was speaking about South Africans of different races, of different color, because previously that was limited to only white people. We are not going to talk about the Constitution. Secondly, if there's a part where the government of South Africa has failed to protect South Africans using that same Constitution by protecting us from illegal immigrants who have come here and committed crime. You can't say if you are not doing your duty, then South Africans don't have a right to protect themselves. That is not fair. Because if the government is not doing their duty and protecting our borders and protecting our communities from illegal immigrants, then South Africans have a right to protect themselves. And that is a fair thing to ask of South Africans.
Yeah, this is a tough discussion, but
Things took a dark turn when protesters in Germiston on the East Rand took the law into their own hands. They forced their way onto private properties and started evicting people, handing them over to police, even those with documents to be in the country. Reporter Aviwe Mtila was on the ground to get a real-time account of how things unfolded.
Yet again, another one is being taken by the residents. Another foreign national we suspect being taken by the residents. He's saying that children have been hurt. In fact, we see two young girls. One is bloody. He's saying that his children have been hurt. They're with their mother. Here, they're crying, little girls. Who's that, man? Mama, what's that going on? Mama just walks straight. The lady is walking with her two younger daughters. I would suspect as well as a teenage boy. The father was escorted in a rough manner by the scruff of his neck, essentially, by some of these people on the ground here, who of course still continue fury in the streets of Germiston as they go house to house. The police are now basically watching on and receiving the foreign nationals, whether documented or undocumented, from the residents of Ekurhuleni here as they're going in, essentially smoking them out, whether they have young children, whether it is women, whether it's men. There is no barriers or no stop to where they go themselves.